Homi Tatiape, April Cordovi, Machiape, Malakota and Taos Pueblo. My Thelma is Joseph Conquilla Cordova. My Ina and my Ka is Patricia Crow Cordova. I'm sixth generation from Chief Red Cloud. I'm the owner-operator of AC and Associates, and I am community member, mother, entrepreneur, and I'm excited to be here today with you. Thank you for being here. Jennifer Varenchek is walking into a meeting, but she'll listen as long as she can. Thanks for checking in, doll. So hello, everybody. My name is Ava Cordova. I'm Taos Pueblo in Oglala, Lakota. I am the owner-operator of AC and Associates, and I've challenged myself every single day in the month of December to go live. I made an impulse purchase on upgrading my StreamYard, and I think it's important, since I spent the money, to make sure that I'm practicing and visiting with you all regularly. So for the whole month of July, what the heck? For the whole month of December, check in. We're going to go live daily. It might just be me here. I've invited some friends and family to pop on. Last night we had the amazing conversation with somebody who's very close to me that I've known all my life. That was my twin sister, Songtree Payochi. And we had a really great conversation. So I just am thankful that you are watching and that you're here. Let me tell you a little bit about maybe what I'm going to be talking on. So recently, on November 23rd, I had my first in-person event in the Los Angeles area. And just so you know, I'm streaming in from Tongva territory. So if you don't know where that is, that's Los Angeles area. Let us know where you're checking in from in the comments. Tell us who you are, where you're checking in. It would be great to engage with y'all. Thanks, Jen, for checking in. So in November, on the 23rd, the day before Thanksgiving, I planned a in-person live event, and that live in-person event was partially funded by the Return to Heart Foundation. They provide every year a micro grant, and it's called the Helpers and Healers Grant, micro grant, and they provide this funding for Native women and youth to join, and just to be helpers and healers and learn culture, learn tradition. So for this particular event, I called it a taking care of the caretakers brunch. What does that mean? So during pandemic, we were all social distancing, which we should still be, and we were all going through a lot. We were in a dark space, dark place. There was a lot happening in our world, and a lot of people turned to hospitals, they turned to therapists, they turned to the stores, and there was essential workers that were out there. And as this last year started coming to a close, I was thinking a lot about those people that our families and friends turn to, therapists, hospital staff, any essential workers. And I thought to myself, who's taking care of these individuals that are taking care of us? I have a lot of friends and people in my circle that are therapists that work in the medical field. And I always think about them and how they're going through things. So I thought, I'm going to have a brunch, and I'm going to invite some people, and I'm going to honor them. And the way that I honored them is I asked some great people in my circle, Brian Frijo, who is an amazing brother, who him and his family are just very good people. So I asked him if he could do a cedar blessing. He said yes. I asked an amazing, beautiful elder, Tina Calderon, if she would open us up in a traditional song and land acknowledgement. And I also asked another friend of mine, His name is Daryl Montana, if he could feed or if he can serve a meal. And he said yes. And also a couple other more friends. Jennifer, she lives in Oahu, and she was here, and she helped me do a women and youth fireside chat about dreams and goals. And then Lisa Smith and Nancy and Thosh Montana were helpers and healers on-site events support staff. So, and volunteers. So I was just really glad that so many individuals supported me, from the funding that I got to my community. We had golden ticket sponsors. People bought tickets if they couldn't be there. And it was just an amazing, amazing event. Let us know in the chat if you were there, what you liked about it. I wanted to share that there was 22 tribal nations represented, and also there was 8 Native orgs and businesses that also came to support. And I'll shout them out, but I'm also going to show you some pictures in a little bit. But one of the organizations that were a sponsor was the Return to Heart Foundation. And last year I saw their funding requests put out on their socials, and I clicked on it. And I'm always looking for funding, and I always get turned down. I'm a new entrepreneur, but I clicked on their link to try to get funding for these things that I want to do. I clicked on it, and it was super easy to fill out. And I'm not a grant writer. I don't have a lot of professional words. I did all this at this event, this caretakers event, and I was talking to an amazing woman who I look up to, Gina, and I was telling her, how do I, after this event has been done, how do I put all of this greatness into a grant so that I can get money for it? And she gave me so many great tips. And she was here in LA recently, but I know she's in the Reno area. But she just gave me so many great tips. And I know she's an amazing leader. Their organization was the one that funded me. So I invited her here today, and she said yes, that she would come on. So I'm going to bring her on now and have her, just talk and speak about the great work that she's doing. And I just wanted to say thank you, Ilama. Thank you so much for believing in me. We also got a chance. I also got a chance last year or this year to go to the summer solstice event that was held in the Black Hills in Pine Ridge, South Dakota. That's my hometown. That's where my family comes from. And I also got the opportunity to go into the Black Hills and see where our creation story comes from. It was such a beautiful event, and all the sisters that I made and the friends that I made through that event is just healing and just medicine. So I'm going to bring her on, and I'll have her introduce herself, and you guys are in for an amazing treat. She's an amazing woman. So I'm going to bring Gina on now. Here we go. Hi, Gina.
Hi. Hagani. I'm Gina Jackson. I'm Western Shoshone and also Oglala Lakota. I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of the Return to the Heart Foundation. And we're a foundation that was created out of nothing, except for the desire to do something specifically for Native women. I have been around philanthropy for a while. I had worked for the Casey Foundation, which is an operating foundation that sent me to DC to work on the Indian Child Welfare Act guidelines and regulations. And then I ended up at the White House the last year, which was really amazing. I moved over to Native Americans in philanthropy and did a lot of good work there. But, one thing that I saw that was missing in the philanthropic sector was funding specifically for Native women and for girls. It may be a little tiny slice of the pie in some organizations funding, but there was not anything that was specifically wrapped around and created by and for Native women and girls. And so myself, Sarah Eaglehart, and Senator Red Dawn Foster, she wasn't senator at that time, but she is now, came together and just dreamed this dream that we could make it happen. And within a year, we were up and running. It was also the first month of the pandemic being announced. So, we had to quickly change, direction, because it was life and death, in those early days of COVID. And, raising money for, PPE and getting funding out to the health centers and, trying to educate people. In the very early days, I thought it was going to be just a few weeks. My mom said, come home. And I did. And I thought it'll be a few weeks. And then I was like, okay, maybe a few months. And finally, I think the realization hit so many people that this is not going to go away anytime soon. So that's how I ended up back in Nevada. I was in LA, and now I'm here back in Nevada, where I'm from, and I'm just happy to be really close to my family. And as our organization is plugging along, one of the things that we did was we brought on a brand new CEO, co-CEO with me, Joni Swina, who's Cochiti Pueblo. And she's an academic who's working on her doctoral program. She's going to be Dr. Joni and early next year. And so a couple things. One of the things that we're doing around our grant making is we use a philosophy called trust-based philanthropy. And that is, we believe in the grantees, the Native women that we're working with. We believe in their vision. We believe in their work, and we try to make it as easy as possible to fund them. Many organizations and philanthropic organizations and foundations, they fund nonprofit organizations. So if you have your legal status of 501c3, then you're eligible to apply. With Return to the Heart, we saw that there's a need to fund the women who are doing awesome work, a lot of times out of their own pockets. And they are not, some are with a nonprofit and some are not. And so it was really important to us is to reach and wrap around those who are not covered under a nonprofit organization. So for example, it could be like a grad student who's doing some amazing work or research around Native women and girls, and they have no funding, and they're trying to make things happen with no money at all. And so that's how we do our grant making. Is we can grant directly to individuals as well as nonprofit, because we have a mix of both. And we just finished our grant decision making last week, and so we're working on getting our acknowledgement letters out probably early next week, and all the back end of the grant making that needs to happen so we can push the funding out the first of the new year. So the announcement would be a nice Christmas gift for the folks who have been waiting to find out did they get funded or not. And then the actual funding will come next year. Another thing I'm super excited about is we have a vision around supporting Native girls. And when you think about like Native girls, just in general, Native American girls, not a lot of names just start popping up, right? It's not very handy. One of the focus areas that we really care about is climate justice. And oftentimes when people think of like Native girls, young voices, they'll think of like Autumn Peltier, who's awesome, but she's in Canada. She's not here in the US. We're our US, our Native American girls. And we really want to build the space and to support those voices to be heard. And so our portfolio that we're building out and fundraising, because again, we started from nothing. So we raise funds and give out funds, is around a mentorship program where we pair young Native women, and I say women because we're going to be doing 18 to probably 27 years old, pairing them with a seasoned climate justice warrior who will, work with them and mentor them. And we'll fund both so that everybody's getting funding and, watering to be able to, to thrive and to grow those voices and look for the places and spaces where they can be heard, whether that's on a local level, it's on a tribal level, it's on a state level, or even a national level, and really look to, clear a path for those voices. So in 2 years from now, we have names. We will know those young Native women voices, and we'll know the importance, because, all of the solutions around climate justice we have as Indigenous people. They just, nobody ever listened to us. They shut us down. If even taking like one or two principles about caring for our Mother Earth could turn things around so much. But again, our time is coming, and it's coming soon. So I'm excited about our work around girls, and that'll be built out, in this upcoming year.
Thank you, Gina, for sharing all of those great things that are coming up. We have a comment in the comment section. It says, "Hi, Gina, this is a great concept to fund grad students who are not affiliated with nonprofit. Kudos on reducing barriers that some great work can happen. I'm a fan of your work and efforts. What are the award amounts, or where can info be sought?"
I would say follow us on social medias, because that's how we announce everything, is through either Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. The bad thing though is that we just closed. So the deadline is passed, and we'll be doing the next round. Probably announcements will start in September, maybe August. We'll start announcing it September, around that time. So we'll have to wait. And they're micro grants. This is not big money. But one of the things that we try to do is, once we fund, especially somebody who's not under a nonprofit, it's that support, and it's like networking and connecting, grantees to one another, and feeling like, what, somebody believed in me and I'm doing it. I did it. And we can also connect them to other funders who can give them bigger money. And that's what we've seen happen with our grantees so far, is that got them into the door of, being a philanthropic funded project, and then more funding can come.
What would you say? Can you share with us some past grantees and some of the projects that they did?
Yeah, well, I would say the last two rounds really were focused a lot around traditional medicines.
Mm.
And especially with COVID, and there was no prescription, nothing that could help, folks were turning to our traditional medicines, and making those available, was critical. Life and death, really. One of the projects was creating like medicine hubs with traditional medicines that community members could go to and get, what they needed for free. Another project was, this was actually in New York, where they were reviving or recreating an elderberry grove. So again, bringing back traditional medicines. Another one that was kind of one of my favorites as well is was around gut health and traditional foods. So if you Google gut health and traditional foods, you know what comes up? White men talking about traditional foods, academics who basically are taking our knowledge and sharing that. But to have a Native woman-led project where their goal is to educate other Native women, it was awesome. Another one, a lot of traditional foods, because we do know that food is medicine. So bringing back like traditional foods like buffalo, and teaching people about the importance of health related to that. One of the projects, and this is something I'll just share really quickly, that I learned was that buffalo have some of the same omega fatty acids like salmon does. So, here we are, and we eat, beef and pork and chicken. And then the folks who have that, fish-based diet with a high omega fatty threes, they're so much healthier. Well, when we were eating buffalo as a big source, we were getting that too. And so bringing those things back, that's why there, the health disparities weren't there like they
Mhm.
are now. And so, just learning about those types of things. One of them, another one was kind of a favorite was traditional teachings around beekeeping and honey. And so
Wow.
saving our pollinators, but really from our indigenous worldview, that's not something you hear about every day. We also funded language immersion programs for like small children, just, a whole variety, spiritual and cultural revitalization of practices was another area that people did. Um, trauma healing was another, but just, yeah, so many different projects from, all across the US. Ceremonial things. We had a project where they were bringing back or teaching like next generation, the younger generations, about their ceremonies, regalia. One of them was making the minks and all the teachings behind that. Just some beautiful, beautiful healing work, things that are so important. And to be able to lift those up has been amazing.
Yeah. We have a comment that says, thank you for thinking of those regular folks. Oh no, Native Nations organization was able to put the first round dance on Ono because of receiving this grant. So thank you so much for continued to funding. And like Gina mentioned, it is a micro grant, but any money that can help towards whatever the bigger picture is always welcome. And when I tell you that it was super easy to fill out the grant, um, it was super easy. And what I like that you said was that you can provide additional support when filling out funding. And I remember you giving me a call and saying, hey, I got your stuff. Is this what you mean? What do you mean on this? And, I don't have those words, but for you to actually make a call and say, hey, April, this is what it sounds like, but just giving me the opportunity to explain it because I'm not an academic. I'm not in academia. I'm not an academic. I only have one semester of high school. My education is more like um, lived experience. So I've talked about this before, where I used to work at a mental health facility, a nonprofit, Native nonprofit here, and it was I was surrounded by PhDs, people that had letters behind their names, and all I had was my community. And as I continue to work there, one of the things that those therapists didn't have was community. And I had that, so for you to make a phone call and say, hey, April, how can, explain to me. And then, in January, come the new year, I was surprisingly awarded the micro grant. And not only was I surprisingly awarded that, I also got to go to the trip for the summer solstice. Do you want to talk a little bit about what summer solstice was about?
Yeah, sure. Summer solstice is our signature event, and it's usually June 22nd. And we've chosen the Black Hills for it to be. And we bring together a small group. And I say small, I think we were around 35, probably 35 to 50. If it gets too big, then it's like we can't keep everyone together. But we involved funders, we involved activists, allies, and also invited some grantees on scholarship that we were able to, because we just wanted them to be together. And really it was about, all about healing. It was about connection to one another, learning. Actually, we had a lot of the local grantees do presentations. So we had breakout sessions where we had one group actually butcher a buffalo. And we had another group learn about traditional native medicines, and we were able to take a walk and actually pick some medicines. We had another one on equine therapy, and so folks were able to learn about the healing, power of just being, with our horse relatives, and that was really beautiful. Then we came together for large groups, and we had fabulous speakers. We even had music and like a little concert at the end, and really just that fellowship of being together and learning, about one another. And whenever you bring amazing people together, it's magic. It's just really magical. And the sisterhood, I have to say, when it came to, the grantees who came, that you can't buy that. That's priceless. And I'm excited to be able to, just implement that into part of, what we do. And then people started inviting each other to their events, and including each other and different things. So summer solstice is our signature event. It's coming this year. We are just beginning to start to plan it out, but it's an amazing event. And if folks are listening, please follow us on social media. That's our main way of communicating, and we'll have announcements coming up. Avril, I can't hear you.
Thank you. I have to plan to go again because it was just so amazing. And like you said, I was, the friendships and the bonds that you make, the sisterhoods that you make. My roommate was Leah Witzel, and that girl is freaking amazing. And from just I just met her for 2 days. It was actually I met for 3 days, but I had to leave early on the third day. But we connected and we were able to share and we were able to support. We were able to talk about the things that we are doing and being, entrepreneurs, or, just the work that we do. And it was so amazing, and just support around everybody else. And it wasn't all native too. It was, you had people from different areas in the world. You also had, I believe, like Disney was there, and they got in there too, and they were like, um, doing all kinds of stuff. It was just a blessing, and I'm so thankful to be a part of this circle, a part of this sisterhood. Um, I just want to say thank you to you and everybody at Return to Heart. And I know you also opened with Tiana Spotted Thunder, who's a freaking amazing singer. And me and Leah, we actually very much bonded with her as well. She's an amazing individual too. And for you to bring her out and the aunties out, Sarah's aunties, I felt connected because, I always usually go back home for funerals. And that wasn't the case. I didn't have to run off to do something. I didn't have to worry about what was going on, or, it was ceremony to me. I was literally there for ceremony and just having fun, laughs, and, Brandy too. She was in our room, at the amazing Airbnb that we stayed at. And Brandy Morin is doing his amazing work with her book that was just released. You can find that on my Linktree because I added her on my Linktree. So yeah, I just want to say thank you. It's been a great year. I mean, it's been a rough year. We both know that. In the beginning of the year, I had some health issues. I was hospital, but then in the mid-year, come to meet so many sisters, and then by the end of the year, have this event that I had. It's all up and down, and it's just life in general.
Yeah. Well, if folks want to learn more, you can go to our website. It's www.return2heart.org, and then just, find us on social media. And I'd love to connect with anyone who's interested in learning more.
Repeat it again. Return the number 2.
Yes. So www.return2heart.org.
Okay, so please, everybody go online and check out Return to Heart Foundation. I'm going to share some photos of the event that I haven't shared publicly. I've only shared them to our grantors and the attendees that were at the event. So I'm going to go ahead and share them now. And should you have any questions or comments, please put them. You have the opportunity to comment, but I just want to show you a couple of pictures. This is like hot off the presses. So I'm going to take you off the screen for a minute and we'll show the pictures. Well, thank you, everybody. I saw, I did put the pictures. They're not as how I wanted them to be because they're in background, but I will be sharing them on my socials later today where you'll see the whole pictures. We do want to have this as an annual event. We had some great people there. We had Daryl Montana, I had said, he works for the sous chef in Minneapolis. They just won a James Beard Award. Brian Friedel was there, Tina Calderon, all these great, amazing people that Return to Heart Foundation made this amazing event happen, and I really just want to say thank you for all of that, for believing in me, and not only believing in me. I know you believe in a lot of people. You even believe in my nephew, who you guys have a great relationship. Daryl Conquering Bear, Daryl Conquering Bear Crow. And I just want to say thank you for all your great work. Gina, I don't know if you have any last words as we start to close this, but thank you for being here today.
I would just say that treasure the Native women in your lives. Treasure and honor them. It's time.
Yeah. Thank you. I second her final words, and I thank you all for being here today. Check in again tomorrow. We'll be going live every day for the month of December. Thank you for being here, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.